make life so much easier. I used to have straight hair before I had kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then this happened. It was like straight. This was like from before. So like, I liked the regression you did on her hair. Mm-hmm. There's one, and hers too. I mean, I don't know how far my hair will go today. Mm-hmm. That's not something you did, but one you showed the screen that I like. So, you know, really, I guess I would say that I feel like I'm not quite ready to go just total natural gray yet, mm-hmm. but I feel like as we go through this process of the blending, I'm gonna get ready, and then I'll eventually just be like, let's just let it go, unless there's something funky about my grays. Mm-hmm. So whatever you think is gonna be the best path to get there and preserve my hair texture and health, mm-hmm. and like look good along the way, mm-hmm. is kind of what I want to do.
Okay. So there's no way for me to control whether your hair texture is going to stay intact. Mm-hmm. Everyone's different. I've had clients where it's totally fine, and I've had clients where it completely just, their curls don't come back at all.
Ever? Like that doesn't even grow back in?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just depends on your hair, just at least as far as the parts that are lightened. Okay. Because what bleach does to the hair is it does change the texture of it. Yeah. So I can't control whether or not your curls will still be there. That is a possibility that after we do the whole session and we go through this whole process, that your hair texture, it will be really hard for you to air dry it. Yeah. If you're used to air drying it, it will be a different texture, and you'll have to just redo your whole curl regimen and figure that out. Mm-hmm. Because the texture of it will be a little bit different, especially because you have so much gray too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, your curls are really pretty, but I don't know if it'll curl the same way. Yeah. Most times it doesn't. And the other thing too is because you mostly air dry, right? You want your hair curly? You
know, what I do is, it kind of depends on the day. I use a diffuser. Mm-hmm. Like this morning I put a diffuser to it. Yeah. But I usually do it like part way and then let it air dry the rest of the way.
Using a diffuser does help, but it will also just take some time too. You're gonna have to really take care of your hair after doing it. Yeah. Yeah, because usually with my clients like that get the color done, they'll like blow dry it and then smooth out their hair as their hair starts to feel better. But my clients who usually will air dry or diffuse it, the texture might feel frizzier than what you're used to, and it will feel drier than you're used to. So it's really important to take care of it after any wash. At any point, if your hair starts to feel dry, you have to use something for the next wash to hydrate it, or do something, put in your ends a little bit more frequently than what you're used to. But it takes about 2 months of doing that and being really consistent for it to kind of feel back to normal. And then the treatments too, it depends on, and it varies on the client, what they need, and you kind of just have to go trial and error and see what works for your hair and go from there. Okay. But it is going to be a process to kind of get it back to like wearing it curly the way that you like, but in that too, it might not fully go back to this. Okay. That's the only thing when we start to lighten you, especially because it looks like you have permanent color on it and some old highlights, and then with the amount of gray that you naturally have too, it usually gives a more of a wiry texture. And so when you lighten those pieces, it has a hard time curling back most of the time. And oftentimes I feel like a lot of my clients feel like it's a lot frizzier after the color, and they just have to put in a little bit more time when they do their hair afterwards. Okay. Yeah, and then as far as the color, we can do, since you don't want to go like fully light, it seems like all your pictures are very dimensional, like you like having the dark in between the light.
I do, and I mean, I guess I kind of like, actually that's another one I pulled out that's like super blonde and not gray, but I mean, I know I'm a lot gray. Yeah. And I just don't know how light it will be if we don't put in any type of low lights or anything.
Yeah, no, I was thinking because of the other first photos that you showed me. Yeah. To do the demi in between, because those two clients, they did the demi in between. Yeah. Yeah.
And then as far as the grow out phase, do you feel like putting the demi in between makes the grow out significantly more delineated? Or
I mean, it's still going to be a contrast of dark to light because you're still putting dark color in between it based off of your gray pattern, but at least it's not going to be so much of a harsh demarcation. But yes, you will still have some sort of dark to light contrast, but just a lighter version of what you currently have if you were wanting to stay more dimensional on top.
Yeah.
Based off your gray pattern.
Right. And then does that have any impact on the hair health?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if we do the demi, like the clients who want to stay dark because they're not ready to go fully gray, what we'll do is we'll do the highlights maybe every 3 or 4 months or so, but they feel like they need to come in for their demi anywhere from like 6 to 8 weeks, I would say, depending on the client and depending on how their gray pattern is in contrast to the color.
Okay.
The lighter you go, the less contrast. But yes, the darker you're wanting to stay,
right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So then, is there a way to, like, is the dimming something that you put on at the end after you see how light it is, or?
No, that would have to do that while the foils are in.
While the foils are in. Well.
But because this is your first transition, we're gonna have to do the demi regardless today.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have more salt than pepper, so we have to. Otherwise, if I don't today, you're gonna leave looking like the roots are still lighter. But when you come in next time, depending on how much lighter you're willing to go, we can skip it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My hair, when I don't even remember why I was coloring it by myself, if it was the time that it was like related to COVID or the person who used to do my hair for many, many years, she was actually became my best friend and she passed away recently.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And because of the cancer.
Yeah. You started doing your own hair? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I'm looking for pictures because it got super, and I don't know why I can't find this, because it did get super light like on its own, even though I was trying to put color in. I know I can find it if I go by that location. And I mean, maybe it's not, maybe I should just let it go light so that I have less.
Yeah, I mean, the lighter you go, the less maintenance because of how silver you are naturally.
Yeah. Right.
The darker you stay, your roots will bug you more sooner with whatever we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, maybe I just go all in.
Like just go. So that's the other thing is we can, but you gotta be for sure. Because I have had clients do it and then they're like so attached to being dark because they've never seen themselves so blonde. Do you think that would be you?
Like, do you see how light it got?
Yeah, I see it. Did it bother you being that blonde?
Not really. I mean, I was like, I knew it was, I knew it was that way because of error, so that part bothered me. It wasn't intentional, but because the roots were so dark and the rest was so light, that's what really bothered me. But the color itself was fine. When I was younger in the summer, my hair would get super light.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so you wouldn't mind, would you prefer if we did a really heavy highlight then and just got you super blonde?
I don't know, you think that would look skin tone better than the gray? Would it blend a little more?
I think it would look good, but that's just my preference. If you've been dark for years and you're so used to seeing yourself dark, or if you're not attached to it, I mean, if it were me and I wasn't attached to the dark color, I would go all in and just do it because you're here to have something low maintenance.
Yeah.
And that ultimately would give you the lowest maintenance if we do something that is going to give you like the blondest color.
Okay.
Okay. You want to just do that?
Yeah, let's just do it because like that. I mean, you saw. I mean, it was like that, and if it's gonna be something sort of kind of like that, then fine.
Okay.
I mean, minus dark roots.
Yes.
Right?
I still think, or you always part your hair there? Mm-hmm. Okay, I still think maybe just where you part your hair, let's do the demi, just because you have so much silver, and we're going to be leaving some depth in between the foils. So just for today to kind of help give that transition, and then as we continue doing the really heavy placement, we don't have to do the demi next time. But just for today, so that there's not the like
silver
root that still looks there.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week we have a new client who's wanting some gray blending. She has a lot of beautiful silver naturally, and she majority has this darker permanent color with some old highlights on the very ends of her hair, and she's really wanting just something that's going to be low maintenance. And we kind of just went a little bit of back and forth, because a lot of times when clients are transitioning for the very first time, they're not 100% sure. So it's my job to explain to them the options they have and what those options really mean in the end when it starts to fade out, so that it gives them a better understanding of what to ultimately decide on what kind of color we do, because that was going to be huge and really determine my placement for today too. So in the beginning, she kind of wanted something more dimensional, and as we were talking it through and going based off my recommendation, in the end she ended up choosing something that was going to be a little bit lighter, because ultimately when a new client is coming in my chair to get gray blending done, I think the number one goal that is a common factor for all clients is that they want something low maintenance and something that will have good longevity and just fade out really pretty, but also make them feel good as it fades out. And so based off her gray pattern, because she has a lot more silver and white compared to Pepper, I normally recommend these clients to just go all in and try and get as light as possible, because the whole point for this color and why the old color doesn't flatter her as much as it when it grows out is because the roots are ultimately lighter than the mids and ends. And to kind of get away from that, you kind of have to make the mids and ends lighter or like the same as the root. So if you're new here, I always start in the back. I do those detail hairline foils around the nape. Those are those diagonal backs right on the hairline back there. I take the back part into a center section and just one section for the back. And this is going to save me at least 10 minutes of foiling, if not more. And I do that all the way towards the top of the head. After I get and reach the top, I will turn them around, start doing the money piece. And I'm going to be utilizing a lot of slices during this technique, because this is a corrective state. By corrective state, I mean we are really trying to correct her old color. Now, when we get to the goal later down the line, maybe like her third session with me, we'll be working on more so softening all of our highlights and creating that natural dimension. But right now, our main focus is to kind of get rid of this permanent color. So I want to utilize slices. This is going to give me the most impact. And a lot of my gray blending transformations that like to keep it more dimensional and more soft against their gray pattern, something that's going to really truly match their gray pattern, so that when their gray grows in, it looks like true highlights. I do it in phases. The first session for 1 to 2 sessions is usually the corrective sessions. And in the corrective sessions, we are doing more slices because we want to get rid of that old color. Now, when a client starts coming in for maintenance appointments, which are technically after session 2, those are the appointments where we kind of decide based off of how she feels the grow out is and the way everything faded, whether or not we continue doing slices or if we now start utilizing weaves. And you can go back and check any of my retouch videos, and some of those will start utilizing weaves and teases to kind of soften the blend. But right now we're really focusing on trying to get rid of the warmth. And then later, as her follow-ups, we will worry about more blending with her natural gray pattern. But for today, since we're doing more of a corrective state, everything around the hairline we weave, and then everything interior, after we do that first weave around the hairline, I'm going to continue doing my slicing pattern because again, we want to get rid of a lot of this dark color because this dark color is what kind of makes it not blend with the gray. Now gray naturally is, I would say, more on the ashier side, so anything warm against it looks unnatural and doesn't blend as well. So we want to get to a state where the color is not as brassy or as warm, and so when it does fade, it does blend in with those lighter gray pieces. And for my lightener, I'm using the Danger Jones powder bleach. I'm using the 9+ levels of bleach, and I usually start off with 5 and 20 and then mix up 20 at the very end. Now my client's hair lifted pretty well. You can see here she lifted to a beautiful level 9, and I packed in these highlights very close together because again, we wanted something that was going to really blend. Now you can see as I'm pulling out those foils that we did do a demi in between her highlights, and this demi was really just to kind of sheerly cover her grays in between. For the demi, we used the Danger Jones gloss toners, and I used a 6-0 for that, mixed in with their gloss toner developer. So for her toner, we are going to be using the Danger Jones gloss toners. For her root shadow, I did a 6-01, and then for her mids and ends formula, we did a mixture of the 9-12 and the 6-01. Now I will say this client did come in about 3 months after this session, and unfortunately I wasn't able to film it. It was just kind of late at night and the lighting wasn't the greatest, and I really wish I did, because looking back now as I'm editing this video, that would have really been a great educational content to show you guys. But I will say the second session when she came in, we did very similar toner. We picked up all the pieces that I left out this time, like most of them, to kind of get rid of a lot of that old permanent color, and then we toned everything pretty much the same. And the only difference that we did that second session was not do the demi, and she left so seamless and so beautiful that I really do believe she'll be able to go at least 3 or 4 months before she needs to come in for another touch-up. But she left very gray and silvery, and it blended so well with her natural gray.
You know what? I like it more than I thought I would. I mean, it's going to be something to get used to, but
yeah,
it does feel a lot older, but it reminds me of one of my friend's hair that we always compliment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Holy cow. But I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. I like that we did the front lighter too, and then it's more dimensional.
Yeah, me too. And that's always the way my hair's been.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think it looks great on you.
It's a big
No more
change.
skunk line.
No more skunk line. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good, Brianna. Oh my goodness.
It's
Really do.
so weird to see.
Yeah.
But I think that it suits my skin tone.
I do too. It looks great. And I also think that the blonde will look really pretty on you too as this fades out.
Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. I absolutely loved it, and like I said earlier, she came in about 3 months later. She fell in love with the blonde and got really used to it, so we just got her even lighter the second session, and we toned her gray again, and then we eliminated the demi, so that's gonna give her the ultimate softest blend. But I absolutely loved it, and I feel like she looks great. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.